Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Gav, the crazy Scottish guy that gets let loose by a grinder and cutting up a Japanese iconic supercar. Yeah. Today in this video, the garage is just going to be as messy as ever, but we do have a suspension component here, and this thing doesn't have suspension yet. Now, I am going to be redesigning the full lot of it. So the suspension I'm going to be using on this is a mixture of components, to be honest with you. The main component, the lower control arm, is actually going to be from a Mazda 6. So it's around about, I think it's a 2013 onwards model. These, you know, I just kind of looked online and seen what I think would maybe work. I wanted to use the Mazda stuff because the Mazda hubs itself is still 5x114, so the wheels and PCD and everything will fit, and they've got decent sized brakes, and the control arms themselves are pretty beefy. So this is one of the control arms here. Like I say, everything is fairly heavy duty. You know, it's big ends on it, big ball joints on it. We've got, you know, big 16mm bolts. It's obviously pressed steel, but it's also double skinned and it's welded right the way along. You know, everything is nice and strong. It's proper beefy stuff. Now, you know, the beefy stuff is all feeling well. You know, it is still quite light in comparison, but there is some weird sort of fixtures that we're going to have to try and make things for to you know, make this sort of setup work. So on the RX7 itself, there is a couple of chassis mounting points where the old subframe was bolted to. Now it just so happens that this part here is quite close to one of them. So the bolts in there are 12mm. This hole here is 23mm. Now the Mazda 6 didn't use a 23mm bolt. It had like a sleeve that kind of fell in here. So what I'll be doing is basically on the lathe today is making up little cups and adapters that sit in here to centralise a 12mm bolt, and also I'll have a piece sticking out that I'll weld onto the actual subframe I've made so they can locate themselves pretty nicely. So, as you can see down here, the Mazda 6 hub I'm using itself has the two bolt style flanges, which mean when I modify these max bearing rod shocks that are going to come down here, the plates onto here I can also make adjustable to adjust camber. Not only that, is the top mounts, I'll be cutting this out because the top mounts are also adjustable too. And as you can see, the wishbone there, I've just sort of stuck it in sort of position just now. It'll kind of come up around about here. Right, so I just made this piece up here in CAD just so I can visualise what I'm going to make. And basically, you've got two wee sort of nuts here. So this is the bottom plate, this is the top plate. You know, these are going to insert inside the control arm ends itself. And this piece will countersink into the original plate of steel I've made. And then I'll just basically weld this one on, so that one stays in place. And then this one will be like a washer, so and the bolt will go through and hold it all together. So yeah, I've got the block in the lathe there. I've just bored out a 12mm hole, so that should fit the bolt nicely now. So yeah, that'll fit the bolt nicely now. So now I've made this piece up here, and that fits bang on in there in the centre. So the spacing though is something I need to work on, and it's basically I need to clear that pipe here. So the gap I've got from here to here, I'm going to make it around about 25mm. I think that should clear it. I've not got too much material, so right, so there we have it. Just put these up in the lathe. We have basically one piece that goes into the chassis leg, the other piece will go into here, and the other piece is like a wee cap at the bottom, and that goes in there as well. So they're fine and solid, and as you can see, about 12mm goes right way through. And what we've done now is I'll weld these onto the plate. Let's get these welded on. I will make gussets from here to here and stuff like that, and from here to here, but that'll come later on, just in case I make another fuck up of it. Naturally, in true Baytech fashion, I didn't plan that far ahead to know exactly what size of bolts I was needing. So I need 140mm from base to end. So yeah, it's more like that sort of size. So it is quite a long bolt. So yeah, like I say, it's good not to have the stress on the bolt. It's better to have it on, you know, the actual subframe itself. And wee cups I made. So I'm just going to fill this piece in here with just a wee bit of steel or an old bolt I can find. I'll weld it and then, you know, grind it all down, and that'll do temporarily just now until I get some from I don't know, eBay or something like that, because these are metric fine. I don't think I'll be able to get them local. There we have it, one temporary bolt, straight as an arrow. Put it in the lathe and everything, so she's all good to go. So we'll get this thing put in position and we'll see how things are. Right, so temporarily, first fixing is on, both sides. It's all hunky-dory. Basically the next stage is get the wheel on, and we'll see whereabouts we need to stick this, because obviously that is given caster by me having this in and out. Not sure if I'm going to elongated pieces as well for adjustability. It probably will, but exceeding the back here, I'll make a piece that comes off here, a bit of pipe comes from here and joins to the subframe itself, and that can be bolted down, so that'd be nice. But as for now, what I'll do is I'm going to get the wheels and I'm going to stick them in place, and this is where I need to figure out some accuracy sort of stuff. But there's a lot involved when it comes to geometry. You've got kingpin inclination, scrub radius, your Ackerman angles, bump steer, camber caster, and obviously toe till take it into consideration. And you know, there is basically two constants. The wheel needs to be in the right place in the arch, it has to be in the right place, and also the strut top has to be in the right place. They can't go anywhere else, so that's my two constants. Right, so as you see the top, I've taken the tops off of it, and I've now got so much adjustability, like so much adjustability for camber. I've also drilled them at opposite sides as well, so I can flip this around, and I can also go for camber or caster, or have it diagonally, a bit of both. So totally adjustable at the top there, with the mixed beam rod top mounts. And as you can see, this is where we're at for the suspension wise. Got to remember, this is the right height I'm at, so these are not actually compressed, so I will jack the car up a bit and then, you know, make plates from here to them. I'll just make them, like I say, because the car isn't compressed, the suspension isn't compressed just now, so I was thinking, oh, they're too long, but in actual fact they're probably not, they're probably perfect. So yeah, and I've got plenty of height adjustability as well, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to have a look, figure things out, make sure everything's happy, everything's square, and then I'm going to cut them plates off and weld new plates onto them cups. So that's exciting, guys. Oh yes, I cannot wait. So I've cleaned up the shock piece there, so I'm happy enough where everything is. I've jacked the car up a little bit so it's higher than it would normally be, just so I can kind of get some angles, because it's easier to, you know, lower it and stuff like that. So I've got it higher up, higher than it needs to be anyway. And I've just made this piece out of CAD here, a bit of cardboard, which I'll basically make two plates up, and you know, this will bolt onto here, and I'll do both sides. I'm going to cut out 4 plates now, so they're all exactly the same. The bolt holes will be in the same place as well, and then I'll basically take this off, and then I'll bolt this down solid with the plates on, and then I'll weld this to the plates, and then that way, you know, that's in the right place. I'll probably just put like a little stitch weld in it just now, not go crazy, because I still need to calculate a lot of stuff with you know, the angles. So the plan is, a lot of the stuff I'm doing with regard to tracking, you know, it's very hard for me, like I'm not guessing, but there is like a little bit of, you know, I'm making plenty of adjustments, so I can, you know, make some adjustments to get it bang on to the dimensions and geometry that I want. So I'm going to be tacking everything in place and getting it sort of stitch weld so I can put the car back on all fours, and then I'm going to take it to an alignment place. and I'm actually just going to see exactly what sort of caster camber and stuff like that I have, and if it's drastically out, I'll then modify what I need to get it to be in alignment. So cracking on, making progress, made these plates here, and as you can see, got one of the hubs off, and plan is basically to just, you know, I need to find the actual height of where I need to put this, but once it's there, just gear a weld on. And that's going to be it. Like, it's pretty beefy stuff, to be honest with you. So, yeah, so what I'll do is I'm going to measure this up. I need to get it in the right height, and then make sure both sides are the same, and then give it a wee test fit in the car. So, as a test, just put it on lightly just now. Car has suspension, nearly. Still needed the bottom piece and start on the other side, but I need to go to the shop and get a hole saw because, yeah, mine's is missing all its teeth now, so. But progress, definite progress. So yeah, things are looking up. We have both suspensions on now. It's not down on the ground because I still need to make parts for the subframe to the chassis, but we're making progress, and it's nice to have the adjustability, and it's nice, you know, to see things still happening. Dude, so yeah, I've got some weird issues, right? So I can't get any lock coming back the way, but going forward, I get loads. So I'm not sure, I can't really tell what's binding, but I think that's maybe too much caster also. I think this might have to go farther back, but the wheel kind of needs to stay there, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. It's kind of getting a bit tricky. I was not anticipating things to be binding up. So, after all that work, that's not going to work. The lower control arm's too long, and it's causing the angle of the wheel just to be super limited due to the ball joint of the lower control arm itself being at too much of a drastic angle. So that being said, I think it's maybe time I look into doing custom lower arms, make them out of some rose joints. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this, unless I can find a wishbone that'll fit. Two days of work doing a drain, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Ah well guys, anyway, hope you guys are staying safe. Mind, take care, and we'll catch you in the next vid. Cheers.